When I open it here with the key, there you can see how the illumination of the front double kidney comes to life. So this is the iX2 electric version. There's a front-wheel driven or an all-wheel driven electric version available. The all-wheel drive one and the second quickest one behind the M35i. And you can see here the inlet of this grille is different. This is then all the way closed. So this is basically the only electric look and the blue ring around the BMW logo. Other than that, this one is also equipped with the M Sport Pack, and that's why we also have the black accentuations in the lower part. And this is one of my favorite colors at BMW overall. This is Brooklyn Grey, and it just looks amazing no matter if you go for a sedan or for an SUV. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now taking the bets. Is there a frunk or is there none? Nah, this is also not something you can push up. There is no frunk actually. Yeah. But there's wiper fluid, at least. And how could you see it's an EV? Well, here, the blue ring around the logo. And in the trunk, there's a small difference actually. The cool thing is that on top, there's no difference here from the depth and so on, but just when you put this one up, then you have here space for a charging cable, and this space is kind of missing here. So what you see here is actually not part of the battery, it's part of the drivetrain unit for the rear axle that sits underneath here and is taking the space. Then second interior for today, this is the EV, but this is not connected. You can get this interior here for all BMW X2 versions, and these here are the black Veganza seats, so it's the high-grade leatherette material, also with perforation, and usually the fabric or the microfiber is softer, but in this case here actually the surface is softer, and I have to say that this seat then here is more comfortable than the microfiber seat we have in the M350i. But you can go for this one here also in other versions and so on. So I think I would actually prefer this one here overall than as the best solution. And on the dashboard you have this structure in here. It's also soft touch, also pretty cool. And acceleration of the iX2, officially just 0.2 seconds difference. Let's see how it turns out here. Plop, that's 90. Woo! I heard the Leah meter was going a little bit further this time in the electric version. I mean, it's it's weird, right? The M35i, it sounded, of course, more extreme in a way. But here, it felt quicker, right? Yeah. Although it is not really quicker, you know, at least on paper. Maybe we check the time codes, but it should be more or less. Boost is like... Yeah, I think it's especially because the electric boost is like from the get-go, you know, and then the combustion engine catches up. But like from zero, like sprinting forward, that's why you have the instant torque. So performance-wise, it is not lacking anything here. There is this all-wheel drive version for the electric drivetrain, then there's the front-wheel drive version only with a little bit less power, of course. That is possible too. Yeah, but here in the all-wheel drive version, definitely I can say equal power, and it's also a lot of fun. It has the more or less same suspension. They didn't tune it to the very stiff mode they did for the M35i. So here they drawn the suspension, let's say, a little bit back. So they already have the adaptive M suspension here, both front axle with the frequency adaptive dampers, not to be adjusted here. But then again, they didn't go to the sportiest extent, and we have 20-inch wheels mounted here, and I feel there is indeed a slight difference. So whereas I would say that the M Performance model, really too rough, here I feel when we're going over some bumps here, it is still a notable stiff suspension, yes, but I feel that it's not that extreme actually. What do you say? Difference? Yeah. You feel it too? Yeah. So that's really interesting. So for the M Performance model, I would have said it's just too stiff for everyday driving. Then at least maybe go 19-inch wheels or something, or go for then the base suspension and not for the X2 M35i. But here in the electric version, I think it's still fine. It might also have to do with, think about there is added weight here due to the battery. And then of course when you have more weight, it kind of automatically puts more pressure on the dampers, which could be better than for the comfort in this case, you know what I mean? From the driving agility, low center of gravity also with the battery, and it's really cool. So yeah, the 35i feels maybe a little bit more engaging, but here is also really nice and agile. You could, wow, out of the corners really quickly. That instant torque is something also where I could say accelerating out kind of feels even sportier. Of course, this sensation of sound is stronger with the M35i. Yeah, it's a sorry about it. It's a very complicated name, isn't it? But here, wow, that instant torque is really sensational. Wow, really cool. So you can have at least as much fun here with the electric version. Oh, you can see here from the GPS also this augmented reality camera view. Two more things EV related. First of all, to the recuperation. So either you have the adaptive recuperation mode, and that means when I lift my foot off the throttle and there's no one in front of me, then the car is just rolling, there's no regenerative braking. However, when I get closer to a vehicle in front of me, then there is recuperation, and I really feel that. The good thing is, it is adaptive according to the situation. The bad thing is not as predictable. Here, for example, now there's strong recuperation. I didn't use the brakes, and it's just adaptive. When I was freeway, nothing at all. To make it predictable and always hard regenerative braking, sorry about that, then here you go here to the B mode using the shifting pedal, and then lift my throttle foot here off, then it's always hard recuperation actually. And this is more predictable. Then again, it might put some more stress on the passenger. So this is always the thing to consider with electric vehicle. You have to be really gentle with your foot. With recuperation with the brake pedal itself, this is also kind of hard because this brake blending is not working perfectly. So I'm slightly on the brake pedal, not much is happening. And when the real brakes set in, then it's a stronger braking, so you also need to get a feeling for that. When you're here in the driving settings, you have to know that you can still click this one and then go deep in the menu and switch from adaptive to low, moderate or high, and then it stays at, for example, a low recuperation level. However, it's always being reset again when you start the vehicle the next time. Second thing I want to talk about is here when I put these driving mode selection. Yeah, there's the driving mode selection here, and the second button for driving settings, and here I can deactivate or activate iconic sounds. And especially in the sport mode, you heard it earlier, when I'm in the sport mode and here. So, but I can also just turn it off, like here. And then there's when I'm on the throttle, nothing, completely silent. So you can choose that if you want to have that or not. I think it's good that you have the choice, because some might find it cool, some might just find it annoying. So that's about the EV specific facts. But I have to say, overall, what is trim related, what is powertrain related? Trim related, that these seats here are more comfortable. So go for these Veganza seats here. Also, you know, in favor of the microfiber seats, for example. They are here just most comfortable seat form and also from the surface. And then suspension here is a little bit better in the EV version. It might be also better or good in the diesel or in the smaller petrol engine. Cannot comment on that yet. But definitely when we compare the M35i against here the all-wheel drive iX2, this one here is the better ride. It feels like it would be more suitable to the vehicle. Yes, the M35i drives also excellent, no doubt about that, but this one here just feels better. It is as sporty, at the same time a little bit more comfortable, just feels as it would be the better overall package. But then again, the alternative would also be going for maybe the 3-cylinder petrol engine or the diesel or whatever, you know, whatever suits your lifestyle best, because here aren't we limited with the range. So the recharging is somewhat limited at 130 kilowatt peak, means 10 to 80% state of charge, 29 minutes for fast charging. But what about the range here of the iX2 today? Well, as for the efficiency, it was quite good in good conditions, 16 kilowatt hours on 100 kilometers. That's close to 4 miles per kilowatt hour. However, with more motorway mix in there, we rather got to 18, 19 kilowatt hours on 100 kilometers. That's more like 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour. So overall, that means in good conditions and with not too much high speed, we are at around 400 kilometers or 250 miles of real world range. And with more high-speed motorway, more like 350 kilometers or like 220 miles.